Welcome, my Love Light Lifers. Natty T here, your vibrational coach. And I help artists, freelancers and entrepreneurs to use the law of attraction to create. Today, we're talking about eights. If you saw the 8888 videos, you know this is one of my favorite numbers, number 8. Not just because it's infinity, but for more reasons than that we're going to get into in just a moment. However, if you're seeing 8 everywhere, if you're seeing 888, let me know in the comments where you keep seeing it. I love synchronicities and I love seeing repeating numbers. Let me know where you're seeing them. Next, why you might be seeing them. Welcome back to my returning subscribers. Mwah! How are you? It's nice to see you all again. You're looking fabulous. You know that right now. You're looking glowed up. I'll tell you that now. Because if you're seeing 8, you was glowing up. Okay? You was looking fabulous. And if you're not already, you're about to. We're talking 8 today. If you've just joined us, like right just now, this minute, and you're like, hey, who are you? What's going on here? Just hit the bell and the subscribe. Just hit it and just join us and join the club and become one of us, and you'll get it. you'll get it. It'll come to you. You're gonna know. 8. Let's talk about this now, because this is our abundance number. And we're not just talking about abundance of like an abundance of love, an abundance of knowledge, but we're talking about solid, factual, can taste it, smell it, touch it, sleep with it. Here's our manifestation. It's about to roll in. Okay? If you're not already seeing it, it's on its way. 888. Okay? So 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 24, which comes down to 6. So we're going to be talking about the vibration 6 is 2. If you want to, just go and have a look at the video on 6s if you'd like to see how that's going to affect your 8s. But when we're talking about 8s, we've gone on a journey. We've come from 0, the alpha and the omega. We've had a beginning. We've started working with other people. We've gotten so much synergy from working with other people that now we're bringing in that exponential creativity that is being on the wavelength with somebody, and we got our triangular effect going, and it caused us some stability, and then something came out of nowhere to just realign everything that may or may not have been out of alignment at the time, and just shoved it back into place, which was this big old change and a big old shock. And then we got to 6, where we had to be really, really mindful of where we were getting back on track. And then our 7s went, hey, we can make this easier, because now that you're on track, we can start to attract rather than manifest. And we got really, really excited. And now the kind of abundance that comes from attracting rather than manifesting, that is starting to show up. Because the difference between manifesting and attracting, or manifesting and allowing, is simply, when we're looking at the outcome, what we're looking at is you can manifest in such a way that it might be, okay, I'm going to make $10 more per hour. However, when you allow when you attract, when you call it to you, rather than going out and slogging it out and exchanging your time for money, you start to attract the ideas that cause you abundance. Everyone has the same amount of time in the day, yet not everyone is financially or resourcefully limited by that time. Billionaires have the same amount of hours in the day as homeless people. The resources are very, very different, however, and how they address their time, their energy is very, very different. Now, I'm not having a go at either one of them, because we could pick apart both of them. We could also hold both of them up and say, hey, this one's doing this well, and that one's doing that well, and this one's sucking at this, and this one's sucking at that. But that's not what we're here to do. We're here to notice the difference between something that we all do at one time versus something that we all do at another time, and which one we would prefer to be doing, which is, let's face it, the one that takes less of our physical energy and gives us more results. And this is when we leverage that third energy. That's what we're talking about. When we've been talking about connecting up with that higher self, the God force, the whatever it is you want to call it. Doesn't matter, source energy, doesn't matter what you want to call it. That connection that is helping us, that is connected to us, that is us. That energy, when we are connecting with that leverage, okay, this is when we start to see some of the results of that alignment and find out exactly how we did in our 6 and 7 frequencies. Now, please understand, I did mention in one of the other videos, I forget which one it was now, that you might be the same, I could be seeing so many different numbers at any one time. In one day, sometimes I see like 5 different sets of triple numbers. Does this mean that I'm bouncing around in the area of my manifestations? Yes and no. What it means is that a lot of the time you will actually find that your vibration, your frequency is going up and down during the day. Sometimes we're more in alignment than not. Sometimes we're in a really good energy, sometimes we're not. Some of these are more dominant, maybe a good word, dominant than others. Okay, so you might be seeing 5 or 6 of these. When you get to a point where you start seeing mainly just the same numbers, you can start to understand that your focus is becoming more honed. You are gaining more control over your focus. So when I say, oh, sometimes I see like multiple triple digits, it's a good thing in the way that I know that I'm in alignment enough to know my alignment. Like I know that I'm aligned. I'm not just aligned, I know it, and I recognize it, and I'm using that to sort of gauge where I am. But obviously not focused enough to keep the very subtle wave rather than the whee, let's do a roller coaster around the loop that perhaps we may or may not want. It also may change, actually, let me rephrase that, it will always change with your focus. So when you're focused on money, you will be in one frequency, and when you're focused on your significant other, you'll be in a different frequency. When you focus on your child, you'll be in a completely different frequency. When you're focused on the housework, you will be in a completely different frequency. When you're focused on your job, and depending on which part of your job you're focused on, you'll be vibrating differently for all of these things. And the reason for that is because the way that we react vibrationally to these subjects will differ. I might feel free and fun and joyful when I'm focused on my child, But when I'm focused on the housework, I might feel frustrated and angry and annoyed. Okay? So now we're at two different numbers, different frequencies. Where you are on this subject may be different to where you are on that subject. So it can help you to know what you were thinking about or what you were focused on when you notice the number, because it can give you an idea of where that's coming from. Okay? So if you're wanting to know about career, you want to be looking for the numbers that come up when you're focused on your career, when you're doing your work, and which parts of it. For example, if you are a painter and you're in the flow of painting the painting, you know, you might just look over at the clock and just see, you know, like 888. And at that point, you know that this painting that you're painting, you're interpreting right now, is going to yield you a lot of abundance. That might mean that it goes for a massive price, more than what you thought. Or it also might mean that it ends up not being paid for, but ends up in a prestigious gallery somewhere, or you make a big difference in people's lives with it, or it gets a lot of recognition and the critics love it. There will be some sort of physical or resourceful outcome as you see that there's 8s. This is a physical product. It also just might mean that if the painting that you're painting, you're seeing that those 8s, when you're seeing those 8s, it means that this physical thing is going to be amazing. It's going to be beautiful, which usually means that people will pay large amounts for it, which usually means that people will say wonderful things on the internet about it. You know, the abundance, you know, because we could be talking about money, but we're talking about resources, which also includes time. So when we're talking about 8s, that's what we're talking about. Go and check out the 6s if you want to know how that affects it, because now we're talking about balance. We're talking about your domestic situation. And so when we are relating it to that, obviously it's also telling you stay balanced. Make sure that your home life is balanced, because it will be affecting your abundance. Okay? But this is basically just telling you that right now you are lining up with so much abundance. Okay? And whatever you are thinking about when you are seeing those numbers is usually the gateway to which the abundance is going to flow. But just be aware that if you're in this flow and you're seeing the 8s, and then all of a sudden you put your brush down and you stand back and you look at it and you start seeing 5s, like maybe it's not then, maybe you're driving home from the studio or wherever it is you're painting, and you're thinking about what it looked like before you left, what the painting was looking like before you left, and then you look over and see 555 on the number plate. This is really interesting when you're seeing multiple numbers like this, because this is what's happening. When you're in the flow of painting the painting and it feels so good, you're not thinking about the outcome, you're just enjoying the paint and the canvas. Oh, it feels amazing. It's wonderful. And this is where abundance is born. However, when you step back and you look at the product what's the outcome that has come of it, it felt good to paint, but when you looked at it, something within you started criticizing. You went into a very different vibration on it. And then those thoughts, that vibration, that match is causing you're attracting some sort of massive change, some sort of tower moment. If you don't understand 5s, go and watch the 5 video. You know how it is. But when you're getting different numbers, it's because rather than you setting your vibration and your frequency, you are allowing the things around you to cause you to react and have a knee-jerk frequency. It's not bad. However, you will gain much more control if you purposefully set your frequency and you use consistency to get momentum in that frequency. So when you react, anybody who's been doing this work for a while knows that the way they react to things now is very different to the way that they used to react. I remember there are things that have happened to me where I've been over them in 5 hours, and I know for a fact that, you know, maybe 5 years before that, it would have taken me years to get over that. and it's because the momentum, the habit of thought around it has been practiced and practiced and practiced. So that knee-jerk reaction to what's going on is different. So you're trying to change that. You're always going to react, but you want to control how you react by training yourself vibrationally into that particular place that you want to be in when you react. Now this one's been a bit of a long one because I do love the 8, and I did want to make sure that you guys understood the difference when you're seeing a lot of different triple numbers or even just angel numbers, repeating numbers. When you're seeing lots of different ones, understand that your focus is changing, maybe dramatically, maybe not dramatically. If you're just seeing 4s and 5s, you're probably in a very focused place. If you're just seeing 0s and 9s, probably in a very focused place. Only seeing one particular, you're very, very focused, integrated, everything around you, voila. But that's how to tell what it is it's reacting to. So when it comes to your career, you can tell whether or not this abundance is going to come through your career, if you're going to see it in your career, whether it's more clients, new clients, higher paying clients, sales, any of that stuff, the money coming through, the resources, the grant coming in, all of those things that are tangible and that you're looking for to see those results. That's our 8s. And it can be confusing if you keep seeing your 8s, but your ships don't come in. And that's why I wanted to explain seeing multiple sets of recurring numbers so that you understand that just because you're seeing 888 doesn't mean that all of a sudden money is just going to flow in because there will be an abundance, but it may be dampened if you are doing something with your vibration that is restricting the flow of money or the resource that you're really looking for, time, for example. So I hope that made a lot of sense. Do get excited. Do know that the abundance is there, but do be aware if you are perhaps maybe blocking it a little bit in some other places in your vibration. Because there's nothing worse than seeing beautiful synchronicities around you constantly and then just not seeing any physical sort of outcomes coming out of that. They are there. It can take a little bit longer than you thought for them to sort of show themselves to you, or for you to line up with them is a better way to put it. It might take a little longer than you thought. Just know that abundance is all around you when you start seeing 8s, and just expect to start seeing it. Don't put any labels on how you're going to see it or where it's going to show up on. Just feel good about that and treat all the other numbers accordingly. Alright, this has been a long one indeed. If you're wanting a little bit more specifics about the 888s, I'm going to do a tarot reading. So you can click the link in the description, or I should leave one on the end card, so that you can end up over there. I will see you over at the tarot card